Peppa Goes Camping. Today, Peppa and George are very excited. They are going on holiday. Daddy Pig has a surprise. It's a camper van, grunts Daddy Pig. Wow! gasp Peppa and George.
We're going on a holiday,
sings Peppa.
We're going on a holiday in our camper van.
Says Daddy Pig, looking at the map. Daddy Pig, cries Mummy Pig, are we lost? Well, begins Daddy Pig. Yes. Grandad Dog and Danny Dog arrive.
Hello,
Calls out Peppa.
we're lost.
Lost? Asked Grandad Dog, confused. Is your sat-nav broken? Peppa, George, Mummy and Daddy Pig don't know what a sat-nav is. Sat-nav is a computer that helps you find your way, explains Grandad Dog. Welcome to the car of the future, bleeps the sat-nav.
Can you tell us where to go?
Asked Peppa. Go straight, replies the sat-nav. Daddy Pig thanks Grandad Dog and the family continue on their way.
We're going on a holiday,
Sings Peppa.
we're going on holiday in our camper van.
Suddenly the camper van is low on oil, but Daddy Pig can't find the engine. Mummy Sheep and Susie Sheep arrive in their car.
Hello, Susie.
Cries Peppa.
We've lost our engine.
Lost your engine? Replies Mummy Sheep. I don't know a thing about engines, says Mummy Sheep, but I'll have a look. I'm probably wrong, but this looks like an engine, says Mummy Sheep, lifting the boot. Well spotted, Mummy Sheep, gasped Daddy Pig, pouring oil into the engine. Daddy Pig thanks Mummy Sheep, and the family are off again.
Are we nearly there yet?
Asked Peppa, sighing. Just up the next hill, says the sat-nav. You have reached your destination, says the sat-nav when they get to the top of a steep hill. Hooray! Everyone cheers.
Time for bed,
says Mummy Pig. Peppa and George put on their pyjamas.
but where will we sleep?
Asked Peppa. Mummy Pig and I will sleep on this bed, says Daddy Pig, pressing a button. Ta-da! A lovely big bed appears in the room. And you two will sleep upstairs like you always do, says Mummy Pig. Watch this, says Daddy Pig, pressing another button. Brrr. Suddenly the camper van's roof lifts up and a bunk bed appears. Daddy Pig tucks Peppa and George into bed.
The camper van is just like our little house,
says Peppa. Good night, everyone, says the sat-nav. Sleep well. The end. Captain Daddy Dog. Peppa, George and their friends are playing at Danny Dog's house. Woof! I'm a sea captain, barks Danny. I'm sailing my ship around the world. And we are jolly pirates, cries Peppa. Arr! Mummy Dog asked Danny and his friends to come outside. Mr. Zebra the postman has delivered a postcard from your daddy. He's finished his sailing trip and he's coming home, says Mummy Dog. Hooray! Cries Danny. Mummy Dog and Danny are very excited about Captain Dog coming home. I wonder when he'll be back, asks Mummy Dog. Danny and his friends hear a sound coming from the bottom of the hill. Hello! Daddy's here already, cheers Danny, racing down the hill. Hello, Danny, says Captain Dog. How long are you home for, Daddy? asks Danny. Forever, replies Captain Dog. My travelling days are over. I've sailed around the world and made my fortune. Wow! Hooray! cheers Danny. Danny and Captain Dog walk up the hill to see Mummy Dog. Mummy Dog, my sweetheart, says Captain Dog. I really missed you both when I was away, so I'm hanging up my captain's hat for good. Captain Dog takes everyone inside the house and tells them all about his travelling adventures. Wow! I've been away for a year and a day, sailing around the world, he begins. All the way around? asks Danny. Yes, replies Captain Dog. What did you do at the bottom of the world? asked Peppa. Did you fall off? asked Danny. No, says Captain Dog. I held on tightly. It was an adventure, he says proudly, imagining himself back at sea. I've brought presents for you all, says Captain Dog. Here is a drum for Danny, some seashells for all the children, wow, and a chest of gold and jewels for Mummy Dog. Oh, thank you, Captain Dog, everyone says. Oh, how lovely, cries Mummy Dog. Gold and jewels will come in very handy. The next morning, Danny and Captain Dog are up very early. I've got a boat that Grandad Dog made for me, barks Danny. You could help me sail it at the pond, Daddy. That sounds like fun, says Captain Dog. Let's get Mummy Dog and go there now. Will you be my boat's captain, Daddy? asked Danny when they arrive. I'd be delighted, Danny, says Captain Dog. Will you be my first mate? Wow. Yes, please, cheers Danny. Launch the boat, commands Captain Dog. Aye, aye, Captain, replies Danny. Peppa, George and their friends are at the duck pond too. My last adventure was sailing a boat around the world, Captain Dog tells them. My next adventure is sailing a boat across a duck pond. Captain Dog likes sailing across the duck pond. Everyone likes sailing across the duck pond. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's Castle Adventure. Peppa and George are going to visit a castle today. Maybe we'll see a dragon, says Daddy Pig. Arr, says George. George likes dragons. Only a pretend dragon, says Peppa. Dragons are not really real. Daddy Pig parks the car in the car park. Welcome to the castle tour, says Miss Rabbit. Cars are parked at the owner's risk. What does that mean? asks Peppa. Nothing, snorts Daddy Pig. They always say that in car parks. Mr. Rabbit comes out of the castle. He is dressed in armour like a knight. The castle tour starts here, he says. Let's fire the cannon. A cannonball shoots out of the cannon. It flies all the way down to the car park. Boom, boom, giggles George. This is where the king and queen would sit, says Mr. Rabbit. It's the throne room. George can be king and I can be queen, decides Peppa. May I carry on with the tour, your majesties? Asks Mr. Rabbit. Yes, giggles Peppa, you may. Mr. Rabbit opens the door to a secret passageway. It leads to the dining hall. Look at all the food, gasped Daddy Pig. It's a real banquet, says Mummy Pig. Peppa picks up a bread roll. Ugh. The food is made of plastic. Don't worry, says Miss Rabbit. Your real banquet is coming. Miss Rabbit brings in 4 little boxes. Here we are, she cries. Ye olde cheese sandwich with Jester's pickle. It's a banquet in a box, cheers Peppa. And now, says Mr. Rabbit, it's time to meet the dragon. Peppa and George climb to the top of the castle. A huge dragon stomps towards them, with Miss Rabbit waving from the top. The dragon is a robot. The robot dragon marches all the way up to the castle. It's nearly crushed our car, splutters Daddy Pig. Cars are parked at the owner's risk, Miss Rabbit reminds him. Cheers George. He loves castles. Everyone loves castles. The end. Peppa Pig, Marvellous Magnet Book. Peppa and George love visiting the museum. But the museum is very big and they're lost somewhere inside.
Wow!
Can you find Peppa and her family and put them in the dinosaur room? That's much better.
Hooray!
Now, everybody can see the great big dinosaurs.
Dinosaur!
Roar! Growls George. The dinosaur room is his favourite place. It's time for lunch in the park.
Hooray!
There's lots of food to eat, but where are Peppa, George, Mummy and Daddy Pig? Can you find everyone and sit them at the picnic table? Splendid! Now all the food can be eaten. Picnics are my favourite, smiles Daddy Pig, spilling his sandwich everywhere.
Messy, Daddy,
laughs Peppa. What a lovely afternoon to go to the beach. But something's missing. Oh dear, Peppa, George and Mummy Pig have left Daddy Pig in the park. Can you find him and put him on the beach? Who else would like to come? Wonderful! Now everyone can enjoy some of their favourite ice cream.
Hooray!
let's bury Daddy in the sand,
Smiles Peppa.
Sand, Daddy,
Giggles George. It's time for a party.
Hooray!
Mummy and Daddy Pig love parties. Peppa and George love parties too. But they're still getting ready. Can you find Peppa, George, Teddy and Mr. Dinosaur and take them to the party? Fantastic! Now Peppa and George can enjoy the party with their favourite friends.
This is the best party ever,
Cries Peppa.
Party.
Cheers George. It's night time. And Peppa and George are tucked up in bed with Teddy and Mr. Dinosaur. Can you put Mummy and Daddy Pig on the picture and ask them to read a bedtime story? Perfect. Now everyone can go to sleep.
Bedtime stories are my favourite,
Whispers Peppa, closing her eyes. Snorts George, nodding off to sleep. Good night, everyone. The end. Peppa Pig Peppa meets the Queen. Peppa and her family are watching television. Suddenly, there is a special announcement from the Queen.
The Queen, the Queen!
Peppa cheers. Hello to you all, the Queen says. Today I have decided to give an award to the hardest working person in the country.
Wow.
The hardest working person in the country is Miss Rabbit. At the supermarket, Miss Rabbit is closing the shop when Mr. Zebra the postman presents her with a golden letter. Miss Rabbit, please come to my palace to get a medal for all your hard work. Bring friends, all the best, the Queen. I can't visit the Queen, I've got too much work to do, Miss Rabbit panics.
Don't worry, Peppa says. The Queen has made it a holiday.
It is the day Miss Rabbit visits the Queen. Peppa and her friends are going to.
We're off to see the Queen, we're off to see the Queen. E-I-A-D-O, we're off to see the Queen.
Here we are, Miss Rabbit squeaks.
Wow.
Look at all the fancy stuff.
Woof, Danny Dog says. Don't touch anything, Miss Rabbit warns.
Where is the Queen?
Emily Elephant asks.
Queen!
Susie Sheep calls.
Where are you?
In another fancy room, there is a lady sitting on a throne knitting.
Hello,
Peppa says.
have you seen the Queen today?
I am the Queen, the lady says.
The children are very excited to meet you, Your Majesty,
says Miss Rabbit.
I'm excited to meet all of you,
The Queen says, standing up.
and now for Miss Rabbit's medal.
Wow.
This is the Queen's award for industry. Keep up the good work. The Queen puts a shiny gold medal over Miss Rabbit's head. Cheers for Miss Rabbit, the Queen says. Hip hip, hooray, shout the children. Miss Rabbit and the children wear their boots to go out into the palace gardens with the Queen.
Do you play in your garden all the time, Your Majesty?
Danny Dog asks. I don't have time for playing, no, answers the Queen. She suddenly stops. Oh dear, a muddy puddle.
Never mind, we can walk around it.
You can't walk around a muddy puddle,
Peppa says.
you have to jump in it.
Peppa shows the Queen how to jump up and down in a muddy puddle.
I say, that does look fun,
The Queen says.
Here one goes then. Stop!
Shouts Peppa. Everyone gasps.
If you jump in muddy puddles,
Peppa says.
you must wear your boots, your majesty.
The Queen goes inside and comes back with her boots on. Everyone loves jumping up and down in muddy puddles, including the Queen. The end. Peppa Pig, Mr. Fox's shop. Mummy and Daddy Pig are wrapping up a present for Granny and Grandpa Pig's wedding anniversary. It is a glass vase.
That's a bit of a boring present,
Says Peppa. Laughs Daddy Pig. It's a present for grown-ups. Peppa and George want to buy Granny and Grandpa Pig a present too. George gets their piggy bank to see how much money they have.
We have 1 penny and 2 buttons to spend,
Says Peppa. Peppa, George, Mummy and Daddy Pig head to Mr. Fox's shop with the piggy bank. Peppa is very excited about buying Granny and Grandpa Pig a present. When they arrive, they open Mr. Fox's shop door and a bell rings. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Hello there, says Mr. Fox from behind the shop counter. Can I help you? It's Granny and Grandpa Pig's wedding anniversary, says Mummy Pig.
They are both very old and need a present,
Explains Peppa. My shop has everything, replies Mr. Fox. I'm sure you'll find something.
A big teddy,
Cries Peppa, picking a teddy bear from the shelf.
I love it. This can be the present.
The present is not for you, says Mummy Pig. It's for Granny and Grandpa.
Oh yes,
says Peppa, disappointed. Do your Granny and Grandpa like digging in the garden? Asks Mr. Fox.
yes.
Replies Peppa. Then why not get them a bucket and spade each? Asks Mr. Fox.
They have spades and buckets and forks and everything,
Says Peppa.
I know.
Cries Peppa.
Grandpa likes sailing his boat.
Say no more, says Mr. Fox. I have everything a sailor could wish for.
Do you have pirate's treasure?
Asks Peppa. Ah, says Mr. Fox. Everything except pirate's treasure. Oh, Peppa and George sigh, disappointed. How about this plastic oak chair? Suggests Mr. Fox. Is it comfortable? Asks Daddy Pig. You can't sit on it, warns Mr. Fox. You just look at it because it looks nice.
That's not much fun, says Peppa, even for a grown-up.
My shop sells everything, says Mr. Fox. There must be something you like.
There is.
Cries Peppa, picking up a teddy bear again.
I like this teddy and I think Granny and Grandpa Pig would like it too.
Laughs Daddy Pig. Let's buy the teddy then. A very good choice, says Mr. Fox. Who's going to pay? George empties the piggy bank onto the shop counter. 1 penny and 2 buttons, says Mr. Fox. Here's your change, 1 button.
Thank you, Mr. Fox, replies Peppa.
Then Peppa and her family head to Granny and Grandpa's house. Happy anniversary, cheers Mummy Pig as Granny opens the vase. Oh, another glass vase, says Grandpa, not very excited.
It's a grown-up present, says Peppa. That's why it's a bit boring.
Then Granny opens the present from Peppa and George.
A teddy bear,
she says, delighted.
Thank you, Peppa and George. It's the best present we've ever had.
Indeed, says Grandpa Pig excitedly. The end. First words with Peppa Pig, Level 3. Mummy Pig's birthday. Meet Peppa, George, Grandpa Pig, Granny Pig, Daddy Pig, and Mummy Pig. Learn. Any, could, give, her, just, may, open, take, thank, then. Read. Birthday, balloon, candles, cake, gift. It was Mummy Pig's birthday.
We want to give you a card to open. Take a look,
said Peppa and George. Thank you, said Mummy Pig. You cannot open any gifts just yet. You will have to wait, said Daddy Pig. I could take a peek now, said Mummy Pig.
No, not just yet,
said Peppa. Daddy Pig had made a birthday cake for Mummy Pig. Mummy Pig must not see her cake just yet, said Daddy Pig.
No, we can not give her cake or any gifts just yet,
said Peppa. Just then Mummy Pig opened the door. May I come in? Said Mummy Pig. Not just yet, said Daddy Pig. Then Daddy Pig and Peppa did lots of balloons to give Mummy Pig. It was hard work. I cannot do the balloons any longer, said Daddy Pig. You may come in now, said Daddy Pig. Mummy Pig came in and saw her cake and her gift.
Wow!
They look just perfect, thank you, said Mummy Pig. Mummy Pig put out the candles and made a wish. I wish that Daddy Pig could take me out for dinner, just the two of us, said Mummy Pig.
Now we can give Mummy her gift,
said Peppa. What could it be? May I open it? Said Mummy Pig.
Just rip it open,
said Peppa. Mummy Pig opened her gift. It was a new dress. Thank you. It is the best gift you could give me, said Mummy Pig.
Wow!
You could put on the dress now,
said Peppa. Mummy Pig put on her new dress.
Wow!
Do you have any plans? Said Daddy Pig. I do not have any plans, said Mummy Pig. Then may I take you out for dinner, just the two of us? Asked Daddy Pig. You may take me out, Daddy Pig. That is the best gift you could give me. Thank you, said Mummy Pig.
We could look after Pepper and George, and then you could go out,
said Granny Pig.
Thank you for my birthday. It was just perfect, said Mummy Pig. The end. Peppa Pig. Peppa's Painting. Peppa and George are going to do some painting. They lay out Daddy Pig's old newspaper.
Hooray, let's start painting,
says Peppa. Peppa grabs her paintbrush and dips it into the yellow paint. Then George puts his hands into the blue paint.
Wow.
Silly George,
says Peppa.
big children do not put their hands in the paint.
George loves painting with his hands. He prints his paint-covered hands all over the paper. Peppa loves painting with her hands too. Peppa giggles. She makes yellow patterns on her paper. Daddy Pig is holding half a potato. Watch this, he says. He dips it in paint and stamps it onto some paper. Who knows what I'm painting? Asked Daddy Pig.
It's a flower,
Cries Peppa. Daddy Pig finds his old painting things to show Peppa and George.
Wow.
Why are you wearing that silly hat?
Asked Peppa. It's my beret. It helps me paint, says Daddy Pig. I'm going to paint the cherry tree. Peppa and George watch Daddy Pig painting the cherry tree. What lovely green leaves, says Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig mixes green and red paint to make brown for the tree trunk and the branches.
Wow.
Can I paint the cherries?
Asked Peppa excitedly. Yes, Peppa, says Daddy Pig. Dip your finger in the paint and dot it on the tree. Peppa paints 3 red cherries. Well done, Peppa, says Daddy Pig. Now it is George's turn. What a great painter you are, George, says Daddy Pig. The painting is finished.
Hooray,
says Peppa. All of a sudden, some ducks run over and splash into Daddy Pig's paint.
shoo, naughty ducks,
Shouts Peppa. Oh dear, the ducks have made tracks all over the garden and used up all the paint. Mummy Pig comes to see what all the noise is about,
The ducks used up all our paint.
says Peppa. But Mummy Pig spots something. The tracks in the garden make the grass all colourful.
Hooray!
Everyone cheers. Daddy Pig, your painting is perfect, says Mummy. Ho ho, I am an expert at painting, says Daddy.
And so are the ducks.
Says Peppa. The end.
Peppa Pig, Peppa's first glasses. Peppa and George are outside playing with their friend Pedro Pony. They are busy jumping in muddy puddles. Splash, splosh, splish. Ha 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 ha. Peppa giggles as she jumps up and down.
Ah, oh,
Pedro exclaims as he slips into a puddle and falls over. His glasses fly high into the air and land on the grass. Where are my glasses? Pedro asks Peppa and George, stumbling about. Pedro can't see very well without them. Peppa and George look for Pedro's glasses. George quickly finds them and then tries them on. Silly George, Peppa says. She takes the glasses and gives them back to Pedro. Here they are. Thank you, says Pedro as he puts them on.
Pedro, why do you wear glasses?
Peppa asks.
I need to, replies Pedro. My daddy says so. He's an optician. What's an optician?
Peppa wonders. Pedro explains.
An optician checks that you can see clearly. He does an eye test. Shall I give you an eye test?
Pedro asks Peppa. Peppa agrees and Pedro leans in close.
Interesting,
he says, rubbing his chin.
Close one eye and say what you can see. I can see George,
Peppa says. George snorts.
Now close both eyes,
Pedro instructs Peppa. Peppa closes both her eyes.
I can't see anything,
Peppa says.
Can't see anything. Very, very interesting,
Pedro says.
I think you need glasses.
Soon it is Pedro's home time. He waves goodbye to his friends and goes home with his mum. Peppa and George go inside.
Pedro gave me an eye test and I need glasses,
says Peppa.
When I closed my eyes, I couldn't see anything.
No one can see anything with their eyes closed, Mummy Pig explains.
But
Peppa sighs.
Pedro knows all about glasses.
All right, Peppa, chuckles Daddy Pig. Let's take you to the optician for a proper eye test. Peppa and Mummy Pig are at the optician's. What can I do for you, Mr. Pony? asks Peppa.
I need an eye test, please,
Peppa replies, jumping up into his special chair. Of course, Mr. Pony says. Put these special glasses on and then look at the chart. Mr. Pony is going to test Peppa's eyes. Can you read these for me, please? asks Mr. Pony, pointing at some numbers. Peppa says what she sees.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Very good, Mr. Pony says. And now these colours, please.
Red, orange, blue, green, yellow, purple,
says Peppa. Excellent, Mr. Pony says. Mummy Pig helps Peppa to try on some glasses while Mr. Pony checks the test results. Some pairs look a little funny. How about these, Mummy Pig, says to Peppa, holding out some red-hearted shaped glasses.
Wow, I like these ones, Mummy,
says Peppa. They both agree that Peppa looks fantastic in the glasses. Mr. Pony comes back with the results. Good news! Peppa has perfect eyesight.
Oh, so I don't need glasses.
Peppa sighs disappointedly.
But I really wanted some.
Oh, Mr. Pony says, thinking, I suppose you could have some sunglasses. Peppa puts on a pair of red heart-shaped sunglasses.
Fantastic,
Peppa says.
I hope it's sunny every day so I can always wear them.
The end.
Peppa Pig, safety first. Today is a very fun day at Peppa's school. The police are visiting.
Wow.
They will teach us about safety, says Madame Gazelle.
Hooray!
The students go outside to wait for the police to arrive. The children make noises like a police siren.
Nina, Nina.
Says Freddy Fox. They hear a real siren. A police car arrives. I am Police Officer Squirrel, says one police officer. And I am Police Officer Panda, says the other. The officers are here to teach the children about bike safety. Peppa and her friends ride all over the schoolyard. Well done, says Officer Panda. Next, the children practice ringing their bells and honking their horns. Peppa is good at ringing her bell, but Pedro Pony is the loudest of all. It is time to practice braking. Officer Panda goes to the bottom of the hill. Peppa and her friends race down the hill. At the bottom, they use their brakes to stop. Very good, everyone, says Officer Panda. Madame Gazelle rides down the hill next. Whee! She cheers. She rings her bell and uses her brakes. Well done, says Officer Panda. Peppa and her friends clap.
Hooray!
The children learn it is a police officer's job to help others and keep them safe. Peppa Pig thinks being a police officer sounds very important. Freddy Fox does too. I want to be a police officer, says Freddy Fox. I like blowing whistles. There is more to being a police officer than blowing whistles, says Officer Panda. We must always keep our eyes and ears open, says Officer Panda. Then he walks into a tree. Oh, he says, who put that tree there? I will make a note, says Officer Squirrel. Dangerous trees, she says as she writes. A police officer's work is never done. It is time to say goodbye. Peppa and her friends thank the officers for visiting. Bye-bye, everyone says. Officer Squirrel and Officer Panda drive their police car back to the station. This time, they leave the siren off. They are not in a hurry. Peppa learned a lot today. Maybe when she grows up, she will help keep others safe too. The end. Peppa Pig Peppa's baking competition. Miss Rabbit is having a baking competition, and Peppa is very excited. Can we bake a special cake, please? She asked Mummy and Daddy Pig. Yes, of course, Peppa, says Mummy Pig. We can all bake a cake together. George cheers. Cake! Can we make a cake like this? Asked Peppa, pointing to the recipe book cover. That's a Victoria sponge, says Daddy Pig. It's a classic. Peppa and George have lots of fun making their Victoria sponge. Spongy, spunky, says George. It looks nice, says Peppa, looking at the cake. But I'm not sure it's special enough. Miss Rabbit loves carrots. Maybe we should make a carrot cake, says Peppa. Great idea, says Mummy Pig. So they bake a lovely sweet carrot cake.
It looks tasty,
Says Peppa, looking at the carrot cake.
but I wonder if a chocolate cake might be even more special.
You can't go wrong with a chocolate cake, Peppa, says Daddy Pig. Why's that, Daddy Pig? Asked Mummy Pig. Because it's made of yummy chocolate, of course, replies Daddy Pig. So Peppa and her family set to work and bake a yummy chocolate cake.
Hooray!
Soon the chocolate cake is ready,
Wow!
They all look so special,
says Peppa.
I don't know which one to choose for the competition.
Then Peppa has a brilliant idea. She puts the cakes on top of each other. Then she covers the whole cake and the kitchen in rainbow sparkles.
It's my special giant sprinkle cake,
Peppa announces proudly.
It's got sponge chocolate and carrot cake all together.
Now that looks really, really special, Peppa, says Mummy Pig, smiling. When they get to the competition, Peppa sees her friends, Susie Sheep, Danny Dog, and Emily Elephant. They have made cakes too. Miss Rabbit spends a long time deciding. Finally, she makes an announcement.
Hooray!
The winner of my baking competition is Peppa and George's special giant sprinkle cake.
Everyone cheers. Hooray!
Thank you, Miss Rabbit,
Says Peppa.
What's my prize? A piece of delicious cake.
Says Miss Rabbit. Peppa loves cake. Everyone loves cake. Peppa at the museum. Peppa and George are helping Grandpa Pig build a pond. We'll start by digging a hole, says Grandpa Pig.
Grandpa,
Asked Peppa.
what's that in the mud?
She has spotted something buried in the ground. Peppa has found a little teacup. It looks very old,
Dinosaur.
shouts George. He has found something too,
Yes, George,
says Peppa.
that does look like a dinosaur bone.
Grandpa Pig keeps digging. He discovers a gold coin. More buried treasure. Granny Pig comes outside. She is carrying a garden gnome.
I bought it for the children.
She says. Grandpa Pig does not like gnomes.
Do you really think we have found buried treasure?
Asked Peppa. Grandpa Pig drives Peppa and George to the museum. Let's find out, he says. Mr. Rabbit works at the museum. He is in charge of caring for old things.
Hello, Mr. Rabbit.
Says Peppa.
We've dug up some treasure.
She holds up her teacup. Grandpa Pig gets out his coin. Fine china. Very interesting, says Mr. Rabbit. And a coin too.
Wow!
But George has found the best treasure of all. Mr. Rabbit takes everyone to the dinosaur room. You found a thigh bone, he cries. It fits my dinosaur perfectly. Hooray! Cheers Peppa.
Dinosaur.
Arr!
Says George. Thank you for bringing these valuable objects into the museum, says Mr. Rabbit. Valuable, splutters Grandpa Pig. Are they worth something? Mr. Rabbit nods. Oh, yes, they are worth a lot of money. He puts Peppa's teacup and Grandpa Pig's coin in a glass case. Then he locks it up. Mr. Rabbit wants to know if there are any more treasure buried in Grandpa Pig's garden. Mr. Bull is an expert at digging, he says. Mr. Bull makes a very big hole, but he doesn't find much. Same as usual, he says. A load of broken pottery and smashed stuff. Never mind, says Grandpa Pig. You've dug my pond for me. Mr. Rabbit spots Granny Pig's gnome. Now that's a rare treasure. It is very valuable. The gnome should go to the museum, Grandpa Pig decides. Don't worry, Granny, chuckles Peppa. I'll visit with you any time you like. The end. Peppa Pig and the Lucky Ducks.
Bonk, bonk.
Peppa and George have come to visit the ducks. They see one pond, but the ducks aren't home. The ducks have gone on an adventure, George, says Peppa. They're so lucky, says George. Peppa and George want to go on an adventure too. They want to find those lucky ducks.
Bonk.
Let's go, says Peppa. On the way, Peppa and George jump in 2 muddy puddles. They see 3 birds, but no lucky ducks.
Oh no!
George points. There are 4 worms. Peppa sees 5 sunflowers. And look, there are 6 ladybugs on the leaves.
Wow.
Granny Pig loves her garden gnomes. Peppa counts 7. Granny Pig hasn't seen any ducks today. Grandpa Pig's garden has 8 heads of lettuce and 9 carrots. Look, George, says Peppa, there are 10 snails. Says George. There are 11 bees. Cheep, cheep. And 12 baby chicks. What's that scurrying around the 13 potted plants? 14 ants. Have you seen any lucky ducks? Asked Peppa. Outside Granny Pig's chicken coop, 15 chickens are pecking in the soil. George wants to play frog. He jumps up and down. Peppa counts 16 frogs. George chases butterflies. He's not as fast as they are, and there are 17 of them. But he's faster than the 18 turtles resting in the shade. Mummy Pig loves flowers. There are 19 pretty ones here. Peppa turns around. Ducks! There you are, she says. Peppa and George count 20 lucky ducks. Peppa and George have had an adventure. They are lucky too. The end.
Hi kids, did you have fun watching this video? Then like and subscribe for more.